Hi, I'm Ruth Polson, and this is Melissa McLaren, and this is Ziggy again. He's our analyst. And Ziggy is going to help us today analyze how Melissa is sitting in the saddle and over top of Ziggy, whether or not she's sitting in the vertical channel that we've talked about. So we're going to demonstrate some of these exercises that you've seen in the previous DVD. But before we get started, I want to just talk a little bit about lunging safety and how to lunge with a horse and rider. We're going to assume for the purpose of this video that you've picked a horse that is safe and comfortable for lunging. So if you haven't ever lunged the horse before, then it's probably not a good choice for you to start with. So you need to be familiar with the horse that you're going to be lunging on. Then we're going to talk about how to attach the equipment when you're having a horse and rider. The first thing that we're going to do is, if you're using the bridle instead of a cavesson, the acceptable way to attach the lunge line to the horse, according to the USDF manual, is to put the lunge line through the bit ring, make one loop through the bit ring, and then attach it to the other side of the bit. Get this hooked. This makes sure that the lunge line never gets too tight and presses on the horse's chin. Okay, so you want it to be just a little bit loose here. So the next thing we're going to do is talk about what to do with the reins. We're not going to tie up the reins like we would traditionally for lunging, which is to twist it underneath and tie it up with the throat latch, or maybe even take the reins off. But we need to have safety first. So what we're going to do, Melissa, is you're going to tie up the bite of the rein. The bite of the rein is from where your hands hold the rein to the end. You're going to make just a knot in the reins. Good. And then unbuckle the rein. And then put the two pieces of the bite in between the grab straps so that that will prevent it from slipping down, or if he puts his head down, or he's a little fussy with the flies today, so we wouldn't want him to get a foot caught. Now what this also allows for is Melissa's safety, so that if he's a little frisky, or she gets out of balance, or she feels like she needs more control than I'm able to give her for a moment, then she's automatically going to be able to reach down, and you take these reins anytime if you feel uncomfortable, okay? Okay. So the last piece is to attach the side reins. We're going to always start with the side rein from the outside. And you should never attach the side rein before the rider gets on the horse. You always want to give that horse a little bit of sense that he's not trapped in any way. So you never want to have a rider mount while the side reins are on. Okay. Oh, Ziggy. All right, so are you comfortable? Yes. We're going to just let him walk just one time around here. That's right. And you try to find, while he's just getting used to walking around a little bit here with you up on him, you find what you think is the center of your balance and the center of the saddle. Okay, now do you remember we've been talking about the target and the bullseye and the fact that you can be out of the center of the bullseye in a number of places? Yeah. So you could be too far forward, you could be too far back, you could be too far to the left or too far to the right, right? So we're going to have a look now and see. I'm going to face you toward the camera a little bit. And then we're going to take a look and see where you are naturally. Okay, so where do you think you are right now? Well, you're quite a bit off to the right. Okay, so let's think about, how does that feel? What do you feel differently between your two legs there?
I feel that my right leg is closer to his body than my left
Okay,
leg.
so I want you to use the trigger word or the buzzword target and move your right seat bone to the center of the target. Very good. Okay, and you also have a nice pretty red vest on there with your zipper. Can you see that your zipper is also not sitting straight up and down vertical to the ground? I want you to realign your zipper, okay? So these are just things that we're gonna do standing still, and then we're gonna do walking, because it's not as easy to organize yourself over the horse when the horse is moving, because all of your joints have to do different things than when you're standing still, okay? So how do we look now? I'm gonna start your lunging circle here. You're back off to the right again, huh? So it's pretty normal that what your perception is of where you're sitting in the saddle. You might think that you're straight, so your perception of where your body needs to be over him needs to change. So that's why we're going to use this shorthand language for you, so that not only I can get to the root of the problem quickly, but you can do the same for yourself, okay? So you're off to the right again. You're to the lateral right side of that target. I want you to move your seat back towards the center of that bullseye and get yourself nice and vertical. So step right over, good. Very good, okay. So now I feel like you're very straight now laterally. Okay, how about your upper body, that whole channel, that whole tube of energy that goes from your head down to your knees? Are you straight, not only side to side, but are you straight from front to back? And that's what we're going to call our longitudinal balance, okay? So do you think you're straight?
I might be leaning a little bit back.
I think you're leaning a little bit back too. So I want you to think about pressing yourself up forward towards the front of that vertical channel and get yourself straight up and down. There you go. Okay, good. Now, as we know, we have to start all these exercises with your seat and with your center, okay? So I want you to do 3 things for me first. I want you to show me the arched back, which is tipping your pelvis really forward, and arch your lower back. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so that's very bad, and that's very good for showing us that, okay? So this is what we call arched back. So if sometimes maybe you get behind the vertical too much with your pelvis, I might tell you, think of going forward to a vertical position. Now I want you to do the opposite. I want you to roll your full seat leather britches under and roach your back. Very good, okay? And now I want you to go straight to the middle, and the perfect balanced position of your pelvis is going to be neutral. Okay, so now push yourself back up into neutral. Very good. Okay, so stay right there. And now we're going to talk about some other exercises that you have to achieve while your pelvis is in neutral, okay? So firstly, I want you to put your arms straight out in front of you like you're sleepwalking. Good. That's right. Now I want you to put them back on your hips, and I want you to let yourself go back into your original position where you love to be, behind the vertical. Ah, good. Okay. So first you went to the right, which is what you always like to do. Okay, so now you're going to center your bullseye. You're going to put your seat bones on the target. Very good. And now you're centered laterally, but not longitudinally. You're still too far behind the vertical. So you're going to put your hands out to sleepwalk position and press your shoulders up to vertical. Excellent, okay? So every time you get behind the vertical, I'm going to say the word sleepwalk. Now you're not, obviously when you have the reins and you're riding by yourself, you're not going to be putting your hands straight out there. But it's the effect of what it does to your shoulders is what you need to think about when I say the word sleepwalk, okay? So hands on hips, very good. Okay, where's your eye level right now? This is also another biggie for all of my students, myself included. We all want to watch and make sure the horse's head and neck is in the right place, okay? So, in order to get your eye level up, that pretty blonde ponytail that matches Ziggy's, if I'm going to pull on the ponytail, it's going to raise your eye level, okay? So I'm going to use the word ponytail when I want you to raise your eye level. Ponytail. Very good, okay? So whenever you hear me say the word ponytail, it means your eye level is too low and you have to lift your chin and pretend that you're pulling your ponytail back down. Okay? Very good. All right. So let's talk about your lower leg a little bit, because we've gone to the pelvis first and then we've worked our way up the body a little bit. Now we're going to go down. Traditionally, Melissa's got super long legs and it's hard sometimes to keep the right angle between the thigh and the calf. And sometimes Melissa's legs get too far forward, okay? And that means that she's not staying in her plumb line with her shoulder, hip, heel, ponytail. I'm going to start already. There we go. Okay, so when the lower leg gets too far forward, do you remember the buzzword gardening knees or marionette? Okay, you're going to do that with this left one right now. You're going to do the bend of the knee and bend it too much and bend your knee all the way back towards your butt, up towards the, good. And now you're going to have to keep it there so we can see it with the camera. We come around the corner. Very good. Okay, so now let it drop forward again. Excellent. So when your leg gets too far forward, I'm not going to want you to put it all the way that far back, but I'm going to want you to think of some of that movement. Okay, so let it slip forward again. And then I'll say gardening knee. Right, good. Okay, and let it slip forward again. And then the third time I'm going to have you do it, you're not going to put it too far back. You're just going to put it directly under your hip. Okay, so let it slip forward and gardening knee. Excellent, right there. Okay, you feel that? Yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead into the trot. And if you feel like in the first trot that you need to either put your hands on the reins or grab a little bit of mane, I think that's what God put the mane on the ponies for us. We can hold on to it. So go ahead and just hold on to the mane or hold on to the end of the reins for a second and pick up rising trot. Trot, Ziggy. Okay, right, okay. So the first thing we're going to look at is whether or not you're in the vertical channel with your seat, okay? And right now you're a little too far forward in that channel. So I want you to think sleepwalk. Okay, that's better, that's better. Do you feel comfortable dropping your reins now? Yeah. Okay, go ahead and drop your reins and keep posting. And now go back forward again where you were. And now I want you to actually do sleepwalk because we didn't get as much answer from your shoulders as we could have. Okay. So hands forward in sleepwalk position and press yourself away from your hands like you're looking for looking for a wall in front of you. Super. Very good. Okay. And you're keeping that ponytail down really nicely now. Very good. Okay. Now hands on your hips. And just find your balance. Very good. Now hands in your work area, in your riding position. Okay, so what do we have going on with the hands? This is very, very common. The hands are going up and down as you post. Your bottom's coming out of the saddle 6 or 8 inches appropriately in the rising trot, but your hands are doing the same. And there's a joint between your hands and your body, and that's your elbows, okay? So I'm going to say the word now whenever you're out of the saddle. Now, 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 now. Can you feel that? Yeah. All right, can you say it with me? Now, 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 now. Very good. What I would like you to do now is when you hear me say the word wash your clothes or scrub board, whatever works for you, you're going to press your hands down on his neck like you're washing clothes the old-fashioned way. Okay, ready? Now, 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 now. Now, good. Now, 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 now. Now, okay, super. Now, push him back down again. Don't let those pinkies come off the mane. Super. Now, what's happened to the upper body when we made adjustments to the hand? You've gone forward again into that old position. So keep the hand where it is, and now think sleepwalk. Excellent. Very, very good. You feel your balance?
Yeah.
Super. Ponytail. Okay. So now I'm not going to explain those to you anymore. I'm just going to use the buzzword.
Okay.
So I'm going to let you sort of think on your own for a minute and get yourself to where you think you're straight. Okay, ponytail, washboard, sleepwalk, target. Very good. We're going to add another one to help your heels down. The springboard of the heel is going to take up the movement of the pony trotting up and down off the ground. So when the heels come too high, I'm going to want to tell you either toes up or springboard. Okay, so let yourself find your position again. Ready?
Yeah.
Washboard, springboard, ponytail, sleepwalk. Excellent adjustment, really good. Okay, so I have 4 areas that I keep coming back to: hands, eye level, shoulders, and heels, right?
Yeah.
Can you tell yourself the buzzwords?
Yeah.
Okay. Let yourself find your balance. And then I want you to self-correct. And say it.
Wash your clothes. Spread your wings.
Good.
Springboard.
Excellent. Very good. Okay, and now we're going to go to the walk and give Ziggy a little break, because we should always try never to go more than 5 or 7 minutes in one direction. So we'll give him a little break and we'll change direction, okay?
Okay.
Oh, Ziggy. Okay, we are now back, traveling to the right. Made sure that Ziggy didn't get too dizzy going in one direction for too long, or me either. So let's go right away to the sitting trot. And you can just keep a hold of the very end of that rein or the strap or the mane and go to sitting trot. And we're now going to work on some exercises to make sure that your seat is independent from the rest of your body, okay? So realign yourself in the target. Make sure your zipper is vertical. You can look at it and then you have to pull your ponytail down. That a girl. Very good. And now align yourself in the target. Make sure that we have our weight equal in both stirrups, equal over the seat bones, equal over the target. Very good, okay? So find yourself straight now and use your buzzwords. We're going to use the ones we've already used plus some new ones. So ponytail, sleepwalk. Excellent. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is put the reins, or if you have just a feel of them, in just your left hand, and put your right hand up over your head. And think about the rib cage spreading right now, okay? One of the buzzwords that we've used earlier is slinky, right?
Yep.
So we want to think about spreading the rings of the slinky so that they're equal distant all the way from right below your hips all the way up to your armpit. Very good. And now hand out to the side. Very nice. And one of the words we've used for our buzzword for bringing your inside shoulder back is washing machine. So you're going to turn your right hand towards his tail and look back with your right arm. Exactly. Very good. And then back to middle again. Good. Now, one thing that I noticed when you did that was that your right leg went forward. I can't see your left leg, but I'm going to assume that your left leg went back. Okay? So I want you to try to keep your pelvis and your point of your hip bones aimed forward at Ziggy's ears, and your legs hanging straight down where they are now. And I want you to go back again and try and reach back towards the tail. Keep the leg where it is. Excellent. So if you get twisted to the outside, which you frequently do, I'm going to use the word inside washing machine. Okay, hands on your hips. Very good. And that will help you keep your inside shoulder looking around the circle. Very nice. Okay. So a little bit, your head is tipped forward out of the channel. Your chin is jutting forward. So we're going to use the word collar or ring around the collar to help you think about bringing your head back and stacking it directly over your shoulders, okay? So collar. Excellent. And now take a deep breath and relax in that position. Super. Yeah, we're starting to slip a little bit behind the vertical, so sleepwalk. Tzatziki. Good boy. Very nice. Good, Melissa. Okay. All right, hands in work position. Yeah, okay, now we've got the stiff elbows coming again, so I'm going to give you 2 words. L of your elbow and wash your clothes. Let the elbows bounce. Now it's much more subtle in the sitting trot than it is in the rising trot, because in the rising trot you're coming out of the saddle as much as you're posting, right? So in the sitting trot though, we have to allow our elbows to move as much as our seat is moving up and down. And that brings us back to the seat again. So as you're following the movement of Ziggy's back going up and down, you have to think about that pelvis being a hinge and letting your stomach lift up your chest and open up those wrinkles of your shirt, yet allowing your pelvis to open and close. That's good. All right, let me see your forward arch in the sitting trot, the bad forward arch. Yeah, okay, and now bring it back to neutral. And now let me see, roach back and bring it to neutral. Very nice. Okay, now how about how your hands are in the work area? If your seat is level and your ribs are lifted and you're taking the wrinkles out of your shirt and you're very much aligned with your spine in the vertical channel, your hands are your extremities. They could still also be out of alignment, okay? So what I want you to think is that you're carrying the tray of glasses, and I don't want you to tip the tray forward and spill everything off away from you, nor do I want you to let the right hand down and the left hand up and let everything spill to the right of you, nor do I want you to let the tray spill towards you, okay? So that means that the L of your elbow has to be a nice degree of an angle so that it feels like you're balancing that tray of glasses in front of you. Very good. Now the wrist here is a little stiff. So do the exercise. We're going to roll your wrist a little bit. Just sort of bobble your, yeah, exactly. Very good. Now back in riding position and let the wrist stay loose. Excellent. You feel that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this a lot. Ponytail. Target. Springboard heels. Wash your clothes elbows. Wrists bobble loose. Very, very good. Now you're going to make a walk transition in this position. So I'm going to help you and I'm going to say, ho, Ziggy, but you're going to still your seat and sit quiet and close your up. Oh, I didn't even have a chance. You did it all and he was perfect. Pat him for that. Very good job. Now find your position again and you're going to ask for the trot within your position. Yeah, and I can see you adjusting yourself there. He's maybe leaning a little bit, so you need to find your center again. Very good. And sitting trot. And close your upper calf. Okay. All right, so you did what I told you very nicely. You closed your upper calf and you made him trot. Could you feel that your seat went into its old habit of roach back in the upward transition? I want you to what did you say?
Yeah, a little bit.
Little bit? Okay, I'm gonna help you with that. So we're gonna do a lovely downward transition again by stilling your seat. Very good. Stay in your channel. Ponytail, good adjustment. And now you're gonna stay right in neutral. Don't let your hips go back to roach back. And trot, please. Close the calf. Okay, there was so small of an adjustment, just a hair you went forward with your shoulders, okay? We're gonna practice it just once more and then I'm very happy with the progress, okay? Ponytail. And a walk transition. Super. And a trot transition. Lovely. How'd that feel?
Good.
I didn't feel that you were out of balance vertically at all there.
No.
Very nice. And a walk transition once more, and then we're gonna give Ziggy a pat and permission to go home for dinner. And ho. So there you've seen how we can use some of these words on help for me on the ground with you lunging, okay? And what I'm gonna do now before you get off is that remember that we should never get on or off the horse with the side reins on, okay? So I'm gonna detach them and you're gonna make sure they're not tangled up in your reins. There we go. And now you can untie your reins. And then when you're finished untying the reins, I'm going to undo the lunge line. Great. And now you can kick your feet out of the stirrups and dismount. Very good.